facing into the sun, so it's kind of going to be kind of dark, but we'll see how it looks. Anyway, I'm going to tell a story about when I tried to tell this story like 3 times already, and each time the drone screwed up and stopped recording, or my sound was terrible and whatever, so I'm try it again. Anyway, talking about living in Pacoima from, I think I was around 6. I think I was in the 1st grade when I first got to Haddon Avenue School. Anyway, growing up, we lived about 3 blocks away from San Fernando Road, and across the street from San Fernando Road, there was a Roger Jessup Park. But in between the park and San Fernando Road, there was a railroad track, a wash, which is now a cemented-in I don't know, drainage ditch or whatever. But anyway, it was a dirt wash that went alongside the railroad track, and then there was a fence that went to the Whitman Airport, and at the Whitman Airport, obviously there was a runway, and then on the other side of the runway there was a gun range, a shotgun range, where they shoot clay pigeons, this skeet, and so we would sit there. We would cross the all those things to get to Roger Jessup Park, which is a big park with a big hill, and on top of the hill there was a cross. I don't know if it's still there. I haven't looked lately, but so we had to cross all those things to get to the area where we'd play. And the way we played up there, other than run around on the hills and have wars, play war or whatever, one of the things, we would have BB gun wars with the kids from the other side of the Roger Jessup Park in that area. So we would shoot at each other, and actually, I don't think we ever got close enough for the BBs to do anything but maybe sting a little bit when they hit you. So we would all go up there, and so to get to the cross, you'd have to cross San Fernando Road, which is a 4-lane highway at that time, and we would cross San Fernando Road, and then you would run across the railroad track. And if there was a train there, usually the trains went really slow in that area because they were kind of going through the neighborhoods, or I don't know, picking up lumber because there was a lumber yard there somewhere down the track. So they would be going really slow, and we would climb over the fence, we'd jump on the railroad track, on the train, in between the cars. We would jump on them because they were going so slow, and then jump out for the other side, and then you jump down into the wash, climb up the other side of the wash, climb over the fence, or go through a hole that we eventually made in the fence, and then run across the runway from the Whitman Airport. Now, at that time, the control tower was all the way at the other end, and so it was kind of I'm sure they saw us coming a long way away, but we never really got chased that much. But then we would run across the runway, of course, obviously looking for planes and stuff. And then when they got on the other side of the railroad, or the runway, there was another fence, and then there was the skeet shooting range, and we'd have to run across that. And we were kind of at the far end of the shooting range, so there wasn't a whole lot of activity, and but we would cross over when people weren't shooting, obviously. And then they go up the side of the hill, and on the side of the hill was kind of a steep hill, but better than the other side, because on the other side of Roger Jessup Park, the side you can't see from San Fernando Road, there was actually a collapse. There was a cliff. The entire cliff had collapsed, and there was a cliff. You could actually get up it, kind of a zigzag pathway to get up the cliff, but it was much easier on our side, other than the fact that that exposed hill was the backside of the shooting range, so they were actually shooting towards us when they would go. And so anyway, we would do all that just to play, with my four brothers. Pretty sure Fredo went along with us, although he was probably like 5 or so when we would do all that. And there was every other male kid from about 8 or 9 to 14 or 15. We would all go up there to play around during the summer, and so that was the excitement there. Now on the airfield, they actually had some old World War II aircraft that were parked there, and we would go and climb around on those when we weren't spotted by anybody. I don't think we were supposed to go in there, but we used to go in, and you can actually climb into the planes and sit in the pilot seat and the co-pilots and sit on the back. They actually went ahead a ball turret on it. I don't think there was nothing in it. It was just the seat, I guess. And we would do that. So we would, and eventually a pickup truck would come along, and we'd all scatter basically into the park and down around. And anyway, had a lot of fun in those days. Never gotten any real trouble. Nobody busted us or anything. So spent a lot of time in that. Anyway, all right. I'll talk to you later.